as you pointed out, Oregon and USC, when Colorado plays them, that's going to be must-see material. I mean, we've got just the Colorado schedule alone up here, and I can tell you this for real, and I'm sure you can guess this. We turn 9 years old this fall. We've never put a Colorado schedule graphic together. This is our first. and just so I'll ask you this question. Was the timing on the dissolving of the Pac-12 1 year off here? Like, had Colorado and Deion done this last year, could that have saved the Pac-12? I'm serious, man. Like, where this is, the Pac-12 hasn't lost a game yet. You got Caleb Williams doing what he's doing right now. Deion doing what he's doing right now. I can guarantee you, if those Oregon and USC versus Colorado games are 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern time kickoffs, people on the East Coast would absolutely stay up for that, and every network would be battling for it. Could Deion have saved the Pac-12 had this happened last year?
I think the question to pivot off of is not just the Deion part.
Yes.
This feels like it's going to be a magical year. It's early. I don't want to overreact, which I'm kind of doing.
We all,
but like,
I guess, but
for the Pac-12, Caleb, Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, DJ Uiagalelei looked terrific the other day at Oregon State, who, by the way, is a top 25 team. UCLA looked impressive. They have a 5-star freshman from, Michigan's backyard who's big time, Dante Moore. There's a lot to get excited about the league, honestly, more so than in any other conference right now, right? We just saw Clemson get smashed on Monday night by Duke, right? Florida State looked good. Clemson looked really bad. If all these deals did not come up or get leveraged into coming up, going into this season, if they could magically turn back the clock, I think the Pac-12 would have had way more leverage if this was 2 years back in the cycle, meaning
2 years back in the cycle.
Because USC and UCLA moving to the Big Ten was such a gut punch for the Pac-12. Now, the Pac-12, I think probably would have had a better chance to pivot because they would have had more leverage to marshal up everything else it had left over. But it's a hand they didn't, it wasn't a great hand they had at the time. They didn't play it well. And now all of a sudden, if I'm the Brett Yormark in the Big 12, I'm giddy to have Colorado coming back to the Big 12.
Oh my goodness gracious.
And the other thing that
was a conference game on Saturday.
It was
a future conference game.
Theoretically, right? And so now you get Colorado, and this is one kid, but I know Deion Sanders has a kid from Georgia who's a 4-star top 100 defensive back who was supposed to go visit Kentucky this weekend. Well, now he's going to Boulder this weekend. And if you start getting kids who are going to do that, and Colorado shows Deion, hey, we are all in on Deion Sanders. I mean, I don't know if I imagine this or not, but how for the years they would run this university commercial. You could be watching Rutgers Northwestern. At some point, there's going to be a 30-second spot about Northwestern, a 30-second spot, right? Mm-hmm. And nobody pays attention to them, and even if you went to the school. I'm pretty sure that the Colorado one used the word prime, talking about professors and everything else. I was like, did I imagine this or that really happened?
Did they really?
Yeah,
I
think
get
so.
That. Are you serious? Hey, we have prime education.
Yeah,
prime
I thought that.
Campus.
I'm almost positive.
Awesome.
Maybe I imagine
that would be brilliant if they did that. But why not?
But what I think it does is it shows. And I have a story coming up in a day on, tomorrow on The Athletic about more of this buy-in in the relationship of Deion Sanders and the woman who's really helps drive his career, who Constance
Schwartz, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really about all the things that are lined up in place.
She's
that they
awesome
have
people,
going.
by the way. Strahan as well. I mean, so many others.
And the biggest Rolodex in sports,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
and
so...
but it's really about the stuff behind the scenes of this. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, all right, 2 years, whether it goes great or it doesn't go great, I think, I don't just see Deion staying here that long. I think somebody else will pull him away. Why? Maybe not. If he gets, like he said, he's getting comfortable and it's early. It's one game. He likes
to fish.
He can do whatever he wants in Boulder. I mean, he is going to be a king there. He already is.
He already is. Oh, he already is. I mean, without question. You get that sense But that's why I wanted to say like, okay, if Deion was there 2 years ago, and this is before UCLA and USC decided to break off, and this conference has the buzz about it now that Deion is just taken to a next level. Would things have possibly?
I think so, because
different?
then you just have a much more desire. Colorado football was horrible for so long, horrible. They had like one winning season in like the last 17 or 18 years. I mean, they were nationally irrelevant. This guy gets there and immediately, like, I don't know the exact numbers of this, but we had reported that Deion was offered the job on our Big Noon show. Mm-hmm. And I want to say it might have been the weekend, Michigan, Ohio State in Columbus. Normally when Fox puts my digital hits from Big Noon online, maybe they get somewhere between 20 and 40,000 views. That thing got like 500,000. It was because, now granted, the Deion thing was big news, but also it's Deion. People care. They don't. I'm not saying they don't care about Dan Lanning. He's a good coach. I'm not saying they don't care about Kalen DeBoer. He's a good coach.
Let's be honest, though. I mean, I had fun with it after the game on Saturday. I just took to X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
Twitter, Rich.
And I'm like, Deion becomes the first coach in NCAA history to win his first game after taking over a one-win team while also being a Pro Football Hall of Famer, a 533 hitter in the World Series, and a former host of Saturday Night Live. I mean, this is Deion. I've walked through airports with him and Chris Berman. Deion's the only one who's surpassed Berman in terms of people that stop everybody. And the one thing too, and this is what I will counsel everybody and warn everybody because I had my fun. Which is a TCU player that Deion was talking to after the game went up
cornerback.
Yeah, and I'm like, I said, throwing a break at the end first hour. If I'm a coach of another team, you talk to any coach you want after the game. If they're willing to come up to talk to you, tell you what a good kid you are, a good game you are. That's the only one. You must stay away from Deion Sanders. You are not allowed to talk to him because this is Deion at the combine. At the combine, Deion had been 15, 20 years clear of basically playing, And this was just a couple of years ago. Deion had been years clear of playing. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but 15, 20 years from his hold it up heyday, and he might still be dead money on the Cincinnati Reds. But long story short, the cornerbacks flocked to him. He's twice their age. They're half his age. They flocked to him. He was a godfather. Honestly, like he is an anomaly, and the fact that he is now being dropped in the college football world in the NIL and transfer portal is earth-shattering in that era that he's being dropped. And I know what Urban's saying, to you, off camera, but good luck to anybody who wants to try and do battle with that. Somebody's going to say, okay, my son made $2.5 million in NIL money between games 1 and 2 of his first time in Colorado. How about you? End of story. End of story.
Yeah. Good luck to the guy who has to follow him in an in-home visit. Right?
That's a fact. These are facts. We're not over-exaggerating. We're just telling everybody facts.
And some of these guys, remember, Dabo, Brian Kelly, they're successful coaches.
Oh, yeah.
But compared to Deion Sanders, who's going to land? Brian Kelly could dance on the podiums all he wants. He is not going to resonate.
But when people were saying about, Deion's not, he's got to, beat the sticks a little bit before he's allowed to come to a big D1 program. He's got to put in his time. No, his time is prime time. That's the time that he put in. And that's the difference maker in this era. How many times have I been saying that from this microphone? For years. So, look, obviously I'm biased when it comes to it. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.